We all want it.
Yeah, I came down to Chelsea when I was about 19. And it's just the first month or two, we were playing against Newcastle United, and they had Peter Beardsley, Waddle, I think McDermott was playing as well, and of course Kevin Keegan was playing near the end of his career. And for some obscure reason, we absolutely hammered them 4-0. And I had one of the best games I've ever had. And I watched at the end of the game, 4-0 ahead, and the player working hardest on that pitch was Kevin Keegan. The guy who'd won 2 Ballon d'Ors, the guy who should have been furious walking about. No one was putting in more effort at the end of that game than him. And he came over to me after the game and said some incredibly kind words about how I played. And I just said to him, look, I learned more from just watching you today, mate. He was absolutely lovely to every single person he's with, and kind and giving and considerate. And considering hyperstars are usually totally involved with themselves, he is precisely the opposite. And the fact that every single fan, every single player who worked with him, everybody who knew him within the game, knew that he was a legend at every level, but also knew he's just a great bloke, somebody you really liked and really loved. Really miss him.
And on the screens now, Aaron, inside St James's Park, very fittingly in black and white, some of the Newcastle great moments that he had are being replayed on the screen. And in the Gallagate end, to my right, on black banners in white writing, they've put up words that were spoken by, as it says on the banner, Joseph Kevin Keegan. And it says, I want people to dream about their football club. They should. We should all be dreamers at heart. Some people are the opposite and say we can't do that. But when you ask them why, they can't give a reason. Well, I say, why not? Those the words of, as it says on the banners in the Gallagate end, Joseph Kevin Keegan. And opposite now, with the sun shining down on St James's Park and blue skies above, a tifo has been unfurled from the roof of the East Stand. And again, most fittingly, I'm looking straight across the pitch at it, and it hangs right underneath where it says in big black block letters, Newcastle United. And above that, the flag of Newcastle United, and the crest of this city, right in the middle of that, is fluttering away. And underneath that banner, Kevin Keegan's face from his time as manager, right in the middle. To his left as well, later, as his time as manager, with a sweatshirt on. To the right of that, Kevin Keegan as a Newcastle player with a black and white scarf around his neck, and 2 more images as well of that time when he came here as a player, and underneath in golden letters, King Kev. And all around now, it is black and white in almost every area of St James's Park. Flags have been raised, black stripes, white stripes, all apart from the Liverpool section, high to our left, where the red flags are there. And on a red background, the white block letters spelling out the name Keegan. And in the lower tier of the Leazes end, the red number 7. And a banner as well up there from the Liverpool supporters, which reads, Keegan is the greatest that Shankly ever found. And it's so important as well to mention Bill Shankly, because when you talk about Kevin Keegan, Bill Shankly is right at the heart of everything that Kevin Keegan stood for. Pat Nevin.
He did, and I think that Shankly knew and understood he was a great player, but also he was the heart and soul of the club for the period of time he was there. It was unimaginable that he could ever be replaced, and he wasn't replaced. Someone else came, and it was Dalglish came and became another hero, but he has thought of just as highly. Kevin Keegan and Dalglish similarly highly, similarly loved. It could be, you think of number 7s in the history of any football clubs. If anybody had ever had more than 2 as good as Keegan and Dalglish, 2 of the most brilliant 7s ever.
It's an amazing sight here inside St James's Park to listen to this and to watch what we've got all around us. Over 52,000 people paying tribute to Kevin Keegan. We knew this was going to be emotional, and honestly, it is. He spent 14 years of his professional life and career dedicated to Liverpool and Newcastle United. And I must say as well, the Keegan family are here today, and they have had a letter published in the match programme. So the words of the Keegan family, who say, the last weeks have been some of the hardest our family has endured. And it says, love and warmth from the northeast has reached our hearts and filled us with so much comfort. And they'll be sitting up there, Pat, somewhere behind us. And you can only imagine, can't you, how much this will mean to them.
Yeah, it's, you see many things in football that people have lost. This is up there the most emotional scenes I've ever seen at a football ground. And it's so magical that Liverpool can be here as well, and it's Newcastle fans, family, friends, teammates, and anyone listening that work with or just love Kevin Keegan, knowing how important it was and how much he's loved. This is a church to Kevin Keegan just now, isn't it?
Well, Pat, that is the word, love. And we're about to get the huge cheer when the players come out. But what a tribute to Kevin Keegan, the man who was born on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, will be forever by these two clubs, and everywhere he's been, he will be loved and remembered forever. To this backdrop, the teams walk out into the middle of all this, into the Tyneside sunshine. Liverpool led out by Virgil van Dijk, and in the absence of Dan Burn, it is Malik Chow who leads out the Newcastle United players. And now suddenly, Hey Jude will change into the Premier League music. The tifo comes down on the far side of the pitch, and the chapter changes, the page turns, and we are ready now for, well, really, new starts for Newcastle United and Liverpool.
Actually, I can't wait for this one. Of all games of the weekend, there's been a lot of exciting ones, but this is the one I was thinking, really looking forward to this one, because it should be so open. It's two attack-minded sides. And by the way, small matter of they're just going to get introduced to the new manager. Just a small detail, and he's getting a good reception as well. I just hope it's the kind of game that Kevin Keegan would have loved. I really do, and I kind of expect it will be, because it's the build-up's been that sort of way. There's an attacking-minded outlook to both sets of players as well, and both expect to go out and go and attack it. So yeah, I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, and the famous Newcastle music as well, as BBC World Service listeners join us. The famous music they play at St James's Park, Local Hero. And the teams out there on the pitch, Newcastle in the black and white striped shirts, Liverpool in the red. Matthias Jaissle, the new manager of Newcastle United, says in the match programme today, Kevin Keegan wanted not only to win, but also to entertain. And I think this Newcastle team that has been picked by Jaissle looks like a team that has been picked to do just that. Three debutants, Hornicek in goal, Dedic at right back, Sean Sturr in midfield, Chow and Botman the central defenders, Hall at left back, but then four attacking players, Alanga, Wissa, Osula and Barnes. So that has plenty of potential.
Yeah, again, it kind of had to be an open team. It had to be given the chance to be an open game, and I think it will be. And it's, as you say, it'll be entertaining, exciting, but just one more poignant moment left.
A cheer for Local Hero, and now in the sunshine around the centre circle, the players stand with arms round one another's shoulders, and we will have that final tribute to Kevin Keegan before kick-off.
And the love shown for him and his family in recent weeks has been overwhelmingly heartfelt. We will once again unite to show our love for Kevin with a period of applause, which will start and end on the referee's whistle.
There's only one Kevin Keegan. The players break away. Couldn't help there, thinking back, Pat, when he came back for the second time as manager. I was here that night, FA Cup tie against Stoke. He was delayed. I walked past where I parked my car and I was thinking, remembering how it was, people were literally dancing in the street. Keegan got here late that night, and when the match was going on, these doors opened and Kevin Keegan walked in here, and it was like Elvis had walked into the building.
It's incredible. That was incredibly moving, wasn't it? I looked around quite a bit here. There are a lot of people very, very emotional. And when I say a lot of people, an entire stadium of people, and rightly so. He was one of the greats of our game, and well, he'll never be forgotten.
Liverpool are going to kick off, and who's going to get the first touch of the match? Who's going to kick off? Alexander Isak does that right now, and the match begins, and Newcastle win it back. And then there's an appeal for handball. Osula took the ball on through the middle. It bounced up, hit the arm of Gravenberch, and it is given as a free kick to Newcastle in the centre circle. And the Liverpool team, you'll gather that Alexander Isak is in it. It's the first time he's played against Newcastle since that acrimonious departure last summer. Alisson in goal, Frimpong, debutant Jaissle, Van Dijk and Kerkez, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch, Ungamoa, the 17-year-old who scored the winner here last season so dramatically, Wirtz, Gakpo and Isak. Newcastle free kick. Lewis Hall, Newcastle attack towards the Leazes end. He flights it into the box. It's headed goalwards, but an easy catch for Alisson after it was nodded on from Lewis Miley. Actually, it was in there. I think Lewis Miley's grown another couple of inches over the summer since I saw him last.
He is going to grow up to be a very, very special. At 20 years of age, he's filled out a bit as well, which he probably had to. Let's see if he can put the quality on top of that as well. Yeah,
as Pat said, 20-year-old Lewis Miley in midfield alongside 18-year-old Sean Sturr, one of the new arrivals. So there's a lot placed on them by Matthias Jaissle, the new manager of Newcastle United, new manager of Newcastle, new manager of Liverpool, Andoni Iraola, all in black, just down to our left, watching his team attack Liverpool from left to right. Verge for the chance, shoots, but it's blocked by Lewis Hall, who went down almost a long barrier by Lewis Hall, going down on one knee, and the ball is cleared away, and we get a first sight of Matthias Jaissle. We're seeing his style. As the ball was cleared to the halfway line, he's wearing a black suit, he's got a black armband on as well, of course, like all of the players have, and he was right up the touchline there applauding his team. He's going to be animated if that's anything to go by. Yeah, no surprises there. You can't not be animated with what's going around and the feeling that's going around here. The game has started at a great pace, a great intensity. You know, some games start and as they pass, they play their way into the game. None of that here at all. They're going for it. Honestly, Pat, what we've witnessed there, that was truly memorable, wasn't it, the pre-match? Very emotional as well, and yeah, there's all the stuff that was organised and structured before it, and that all was great, but the noise, it took me off my headphones there, and to listen to the noise and the singing, and it was, you can only call it passionate, and as you say, absolutely filled with love. Yeah, passion, emotion, as Newcastle win a free kick, centre field. Newcastle, who got a terrible record against Liverpool in the Premier League. Liverpool unbeaten in their last 19 Premier League matches against Newcastle. However, when Newcastle under Eddie Howe won the Carabao Cup, you'll remember that it was Liverpool they beat in the final at Wembley. Here is Botman, left-footed away downfield. There's Jaissle on his debut for Liverpool, winning a first header. And then the ball's played over the top for Isak, right side of the penalty area. But Hall comes in and is cheered to the rafters for putting in the tackle on his former teammate and taking the ball away from him in the box. Do you think you need to commentate Isak's name at any point today? I doubt it. Very interesting. Right away now, any player could kind of jump out at you just now. The one that's jumping out at me is Sturr. His position. He's only 18. And he's seen to be the playmaker for Newcastle already, playing that deep midfield area. He does not lack belief and confidence, but spent a lot of time marking Wirtz as well. Yeah, there's interest all around the pitch. So many of the players, not least Ungamore on the on the right-hand side. Oh, Gravenberch, that's nice. Takes the ball to the edge of the area, plays it square. He might have had a go himself, and he didn't. He was unselfish. It seemed to open up for him. Newcastle break. Oshila's taking the ball over the halfway line, then passes it forward. Elanga could be in, right side of the box. Scores! Newcastle take the lead, and it's lift-off for Matthias, Jaissle and his Newcastle United team. All of the pre-match Kevin Keegan emotion suddenly pours out, boils over, spills over. The place is an absolute ferment, and it's Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0.
Absolute and utter mayhem around here. And by the way, what a brilliant goal. And you could see it coming 5 or 6 seconds before it was scored, because Kerkez, he was trying to, he actually had a couple of yards, but he couldn't get anywhere near the pace that Langer's has gone through there. The ball was played and he left him completely in his wake. And what a beautiful finish. Still, Elanga had run a long way, most of the length of the pitch, but he pinged it into that far corner. What a brilliant goal. What a brilliant start to this game. I have to say, I'm not surprised it's went like this at the start.
He tucked it away brilliantly, stroked it really with his right foot from an angle on the right side of the area. A low past the dive of Alisson, diving to his right, into the back of the net. And Matthias Jaissle was surrounded by his coaching staff down there. Well, that's a dream start. That's what you call a dream start for a new Newcastle United manager. But of course, the opposite applies to Liverpool's new man in the dugout, Andoni Iraola. And it all came from the counter-attack, when it seemed to me that Gravenberch, after an excellent Liverpool move, on the edge of the area, had a chance to shoot, but played it square. Newcastle nipped in. Next thing you know, the ball's in the other net.
Utterly beyond me why he didn't shoot. Utterly. He's got 20 yards out. Neither Newcastle centre-back went to him. So there's a massive gap in front of him. But he tried to pass it. Ball then broke down. When they broke incredibly quickly. Now, let's not forget, when the ball was played up, there was a lovely through ball as well. And that, because that through ball was timed perfectly, Elanga got on the end of it and scored the goal. And, well, you pray for an early goal sometimes. We've got it. This should be so over.
And what was it that Warren Barton said on 5 Live just before the match? Wouldn't it be wonderful if this was a match that had lots of goals? Maybe 4-3. Well, an early goal in a match like this does sometimes lead to that sort of thing. Let's see. It's a perfect day as well. I crossed the River Tyne in the train today, and the Tyne was sparkling away. Even the Tyne Bridge, which, as I always say here, needs a bit of love and attention. Even it looked great today. And here's Gravenberch moving infield into the sunshine to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai is closed down by Sturr. Pat's already mentioned him. Vert. He has Ngomora on the right-hand side. The 17-year-old cuts it back all the way to the edge of the area, and it's cleared away by the goal scorer, Elanga. I'm not sure how no one got to that. The ball seemed to roll a long way. Vert puts it in. That's a good-looking ball, but that's cleared away by Botman with his left foot. And then that was quite a physical jump by Harvey Barnes. Vert went down rather easily. Certainly Matthias Jaissle is asking the 4th official, Tony Harrington, about that. But referee Stuart Atwell immediately whistled for a foul.
He stood static, Verts, and waited for the hit. But when the hit came, that was an elbow as well. Now, because he had stayed static, maybe that's why he's getting away with it, but Barnes needs to be careful there.
Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0 is the score. 8 minutes played. Set-piece opportunity. Szoboszlai, after such a good season last season, plays it in, and Van Dijk was underneath it, but in amongst a crowd of players. Well, he appeared from my angle here to head it over the top of the crossbar.
I thought he headed on top of the head.
Yeah.
We shall see there's a somewhat... Well, we've got something in front of us here, but it's not a big enough one to see. It
seemed to me as well that the Liverpool players were turning and heading back towards the halfway line, and then the referee gave the corner.
I think you're right. I think it actually came out of Virgil van Dijk's shoulder.
Okay. Szoboszlai then to take the first corner of the match. Liverpool already 1-0 down. Szoboszlai swings it in, and it's headed away by Lewis Hall. Cheers from Newcastle United. Back to the halfway line. Here's Kerkez, who really made his name in this country, playing for Iraola at Bournemouth. Ball right-footed from Szoboszlai into the box. Then it bounces down. Chance for Gakpo shooting from the angle, but that was blocked inside the penalty area, and Newcastle are able to smuggle it away. Although Szoboszlai's gone down, wanted a free kick. Kerkez actually went down, wanted a free kick. Referee says nope, it's a throw-in to Newcastle, that's all.
And did you notice how quickly he got back up again? Players are learning this season, aren't they? No point in rolling about down there because you're going off if you're not injured.
Yeah, well, for all the things that weren't great about the World Cup, and we thoroughly enjoyed it, didn't we, during the course of the time that they were there. One of the great things, I was saying this with Michael Brown at Brentford last night, was the, and it's been adopted now in the Premier League. People will have got used to it, and indeed in all football in this country. If you go down and ask for treatment, you have to go off for a minute. Newcastle breaking forward with the goal scorer Elanga. Kerkez is there as well, and in the end the assistant is flagged on the far side. Elanga trying to win it back. I think he fouled Kerkez, and it's a free kick to Liverpool in their left back area. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, Kerkez is suggesting he get a kick in the head there. Now he was on the ground there, he's getting helped up. It's one of those ones of, it was a very odd angle that the second tackle came in for, and there might well have been contact with the boot in the head. But it's classic one of those ones. You're probably still going to have to get off if you don't get up and get on with it. Kerkez has got a problem, and not just a head problem there, but also the fact that we all know already that purely in terms of pace, he hasn't got the pace. In comparison to Angle, Elanga, he's not going to get near him. He absolutely isn't going to get near him. So he has to give him 2 or 3 yards. But you give somebody 2 or 3 yards, then he still run past you with the ball. Tough afternoon already for Kerkez.
Newcastle United leading by 1-0 as Wissa is bundled over by Kerkez, and that's a free kick to Newcastle. And now Kerkez is probably getting fairly close to the first booking of the match. He'll have to watch himself. Ball played up towards Harvey Barnes here on the left-hand side. Barnes plays it down the left wing. Hall on the chase down towards the corner flag. And he's watched all the way there, actually, by Ungamoa. Excellent work from Ungamoa. Slips it though to Barnes inside the box. Barnes couldn't cross it, comes back to the Newcastle man. Then a touch from Wissa. Back out to Hall on the left-hand side and then back towards the halfway line. Because we spoke so much about Kevin Keegan and the tributes before the match, no, we didn't really speak about Wissa and what sort of season he might have for Newcastle. With the injuries that he had, he missed the first months of the season when he became a Newcastle player as the ball's played over the top. Alisson's got to come out of the area and head it away. Wissa goes for goal, but he sliced that horribly from 30 yards. And it's gone off at right angles and out for a throw-in.
John, you nearly teed that up so perfectly there, but he let you down at the last moment. I think had it been on his other foot, I think Wissa might have made a better chance there. But, Alisson came out there, he didn't get a huge distance on the head. And I was surprised that he came out of his box there, so I think he gets a little bit lucky there. But, that attack is good. Iraola seems to have, as I say, he's grown over this season. He's got plenty of pace. He's fearless when he gets on the ball. He wants to take on anyone. And maybe that is the big... Surprise, surprise, who's on the ball. But that is the big thing about Newcastle. They're happy to sit back a bit now because they know on the break that they can make hay while the sun shines here, because Kerkez is not lightning. And Virgil van Dijk is still brilliant, but is he as quick as he used to be?
That's the voice of Pat Nevin, former Chelsea, Everton and Scotland winger, as Wirtz plays a pacey pass that's got too much on it. Ungamoa can't reach that, not even Ungamoa. And it rolls over the white line for a goal kick. So this is our 6th Premier League commentary on this first weekend of the new Premier League season, the 128th season of top-flight football in England. First played back in 1888. Liverpool, champions of the season before last, but what happened to them last season, finishing 5th, no trophies, spelt the end for Arne Slot, as Alisson clears from inside his penalty area. So that is why we have new starts for both Newcastle United and Liverpool. Seems strange, no Eddie Howe anymore. Frimpong carrying the ball forward for Liverpool, but Hall does well. He's made an excellent start to the match, Lewis Hall. And then a left-footed pass way out towards the right-hand side. Elanga can't reach it, and it bounces out for a throw-in, but he turns and applauds Hall's thought and intention.
Well, we see the plan, don't we? We know the pace is there. Footballers are very quick at this level to realise where there's a weakness, and because Iranga's shown earlier on that he's got the pace of Kirkes, first thing that Hall thinks, even though he's left back and he handed over to the right-hand side, he knows that if he plays that ball right, Kirkes is not going to catch Ilanga.
Already today, Brighton, handsome winners, 4-0 against Aston Villa. In our earlier 5 Live commentary match, Manchester City coming back from a goal down against Andoni Iraola's former team to win by 2-1. Their first match under Enzo Maresca. West Brom 3-1 winners against Burnley. We'll have more reaction to all of that at half-time. And 6:06 tonight, the first 6:06 on a Sunday night of this Premier League season, with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton to talk about it. Sturr getting a huge ovation in midfield for his play there. Excellent midfield play from the young Dutchman, but then overhit the ball downfield and Alisson's got it.
They know their stuff up here, don't they? That's the first couple of times he's got the ball, and already you can hear the Newcastle fans cheering just the way he won it, and he looks so comfortable on the ball. When he's got the ball, he just cruises by players. He's a really nice looking player, Sturr. Let's see if he can keep it up.
Yes. Former Ajax youngster looking good and comfortable on the ball. Shock as that was a foul by Gakpo, centre midfield. Newcastle take the free kick quickly. Ilanga into the action. He's looking for Dedic, the new Newcastle right back. Amar Dedic, 24 years old. He was signed from Benfica for round about £30 million, but he is a young man who did actually play for Jaissle at both Liefering and Salzburg. So Jaissle knew what he was doing, knew what he was getting with that signing, and he's starting. Of course, Livramento, one of the Newcastle players, like Byrne and like Joe Linton, who are out injured for the start of this season. And there's a misplaced pass by Sturr.
That's disappointing, because there was a great ball onto Hall.
Yeah, and Liverpool might look to take advantage of this, but the black and white stripes have got back into position. Ungamoa forced back to the halfway line and using Frimpong.
Great urgency about Newcastle, isn't there? Really close in, not giving anyone real space as soon as they get into that final third there.
Here is Soboslai going back to the halfway line. Newcastle in these new look shirts this season, which are even more barcodish than ever before. Lots of thick and thin black stripes on the white background, and Liverpool in one of the sort of throwback shirts, some of the old Liverpool shirts with sort of white flecks on the red. Ball played out to Ungamoa. Here with his socks down, Ungamoa taking on Hall, gets a chip towards the back post. That is headed away by Dedic, but only to Isak. They used to love him here, now they hate him. Still going, Isak down towards the corner flag, then turns it back to Kirkes, puts a foot on it. Kirkes' low ball into the penalty area, only half cleared by Chow. Then the shot comes in from Wirtz, and that's a very good first save in a competitive match by the Newcastle goalkeeper Lukas Hornicek, diving down to his left.
Well, I'll see you're very good and I'll give it brilliant, because not only was it going into the corner, but it was bobbling in front of him as well. They are the hardest ones for goalkeepers to save, but the fact that it bobbled, it came through players, I think that is a brilliant save.
Did it get a deflection as well? Here's the corner. Oh, and Van Dijk dives for it, doesn't make contact, and then it is wildly with his left foot thrashed high over the top of the crossbar and behind into the Gallagate end for a Newcastle goal kick. So Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0 is the score here, with 17, almost 18 minutes on the clock. Let's get an update from the York-Leeds Super League match. Sharon Shortle.
And it's finished here, it's ended. York 16, Leeds Rhinos 66. The Rhinos go back top of the Super League table after a display where they scored 12 tries, including a hat-trick for Riley Lum. It was a more competitive second half, but Leeds were really a different class today. It finished York 16, Leeds 66.
And also full-time in the other 3 o'clock Super League match, where Warrington have beaten Huddersfield by 34 points to 24. And right now, your choice of listening, Sports Extra, commentary from the County Cricket Championship, and that will be the case on Sports Extra 3 as well, so you'll have a choice of championship commentaries, and you can find them all on the cricket pages of the BBC Sport website and app.
Just telling the listener that the title player Stour was the reason why he's getting a lot of interest. He plays in the position Jorginho used to play, just getting on the ball all the time, sometimes going between the centre backs, always wants to be on the ball.
Ball passed away from the edge of the box by Stour, comes back at Newcastle. That was a sturdy challenge by Stour as well, and then a foul on Elanga by Kirkes, and that's a free kick to Newcastle near the edge of their own penalty area. 1-0 Newcastle lead.
Right, we're not going to go on about it all the time there, but the amount of times players have held their head and laid down and then thought, actually, I need to get up here. It's brilliant. I am loving this. And it's kept the pace of it going. It's great.
I kept saying it, Pat, during our commentaries at the World Cup, because it was so obvious. You had all over pitches at the World Cup players going down and realising they had to get straight back up.
Yeah, and the thing is,
it's a revelation.
It's a revelation because it could have been done at any time over the past 5 or 10 years, because it's just grown and grown of an abuse of the game. And happily it's been done, but not before time.
Yeah, and of course 5 seconds for the taking of goal kicks and throw-ins, which has an effect on long throws, as Wissa can't get the ball down. In fact, the referee has brought it back for an infringement, and it's a free kick to Liverpool inside their own half. What we spotted yesterday at Brentford, though, Michael Brown spotted it, long throw opportunity, then someone goes down inside the box, and that means that the long throw taker has got time to prepare, because the referee will go across, say to the player, do you need any treatment? He'll say, actually no, gets up, and they're ready to take the... So they're already finding ways.
It's an arms race. It's always an arms race to find your way around it.
Here's Gravenberg playing the ball out towards the left-hand side. The gap pull. Kirkes takes it on. Kirkes has ball across, and Hornicek, the goalkeeper, went down, got something on it, blocked it away, and Newcastle clear it away.
That's a big lift for Kirkes, because it's been difficult for him defensively, but we all know he's superb at overlapping. Fullbacks are going to play a big part in this today, because Hall, he can get forward as well on the left-hand side for Newcastle. Here's
Matthias Jaissle again, skipping down the touchline here, out of his technical area. Fourth officials all over the Premier League will be onto that. Newcastle haven't got it away yet, but they do now through Botman. And underneath that, Jaissle has headed it straight to Wissa. And Wissa, as I say, I'm expecting him to have... I could see Wissa, the way that he played at the World Cup. He's got a point to prove this season. Missed so much of last season. Only scored 3 goals in a Newcastle shirt. Hasn't scored since January for them. But I thought he looked very dangerous at the World Cup. Should have scored it against England, if you remember, again.
Yeah.
In that match against DR Congo. As the ball is played out towards the right-hand side, what a pass that was from Lewis Miley, and that's taken down on the right, and that's wildly hit by Dedic, but it took a deflection which carried it wide. Was an opportunity for the new Newcastle right back, but he's got a corner out of it.
Tells you the story, though. He is willing to go forward as well. It's telling you the importance of the fullbacks in this game. Dedic, we've not seen it yet. We've now seen it. As soon as his winger comes off the line, he just goes. It's as if he doesn't think about it. He flies forward there, got himself in a great position, probably made the wrong decision there, but that's a real danger for Newcastle going forward.
Yeah, he is Amar Dedic, Bosnia and Herzegovina international, was at the World Cup, Austrian-born, and that's the first time we've seen him get forward into that kind of position. Corner to Newcastle then. Hall in front of the Leazes end. In it goes, but it's headed away by Gakpo, unchallenged, got up high, got good distance on it. Newcastle come again, though. Here is Harvey Barnes. No Anthony Gordon anymore. No Bruno Guimaraes. No Sandro Tonali, who didn't have a great afternoon yesterday. Watching him in his first Premier League match as a £100 million footballer. He was very much put in the shade, but Tottenham had a bad day yesterday.
They certainly did. When you think of no Tonali and no Bruno Guimaraes here, and you think that's incredible for how important they've been at the club. The amount of pundits and people in the game that I've heard saying, don't worry about that too much. There's a lot of young players coming through. They might actually do okay in that position, Newcastle.
Hall puts in a challenge on Isak, who's gone down. Matthias Jaissle, not far away from this, is suggesting that there's not much wrong with Isak. And referee Atwell's not given the free kick, so Isak will have to get up. And now Wissa passing the ball forward. Osler could be under this. Osler in the area, who's challenged by Jaissle. He's gone down. The ball bounces away. But there are no obvious appeals for a penalty in that. Although Wissa is saying to the referee, how about that? video assistant referee will be having a look at this, certainly.
Again, the pace is incredible. I think he just gets a touch on it himself. Both players going for a better angle on it here. I tell you what, that would be a harsh penalty. I thought he got the ball there, defender, but he was under pressure, struggling with the pace. Certainly up front, the pace of Newcastle looks fabulous just now.
Yeah, Stuart Atwell says the check for a penalty has been completed. He's indicated that players back underway.
I would agree. I think they got that one right. Yeah. But Jaissle under a lot of pressure there. Again, every time it goes beyond that back line of Liverpool, they're struggling for pace in comparison.
Newcastle 1, Liverpool 0. As Isak plays it back to Szoboszlai. Might have got a little tug back from Wissa, and goes down and gets the free kick, and it's a yellow card for Wissa.
It's the lightest of drags, the tiniest of drag backs, but it's a drag back, and he's behind him, and it's a silly challenge to make. So he's got that yellow card, and I don't think he can argue about it. Well, he will argue, but there's no point.
Free kick for Liverpool. Szoboszlai, very effective. Remember last season, I think he scored 5 goals from free kicks of the 13 that he got for Liverpool last season.
Do you think he's close enough to have a dig?
I do.
I do. I agree. It's right on the edge.
I saw a few of them, Pat.
If it wasn't Szoboszlai, I wouldn't be so sure, but he can do it from here.
Yeah, the Hungarian with the lank hair, some of it tied up at the back of his head, lifts up the front of his red shirt, wipes his face. Newcastle have put Dedic down, lying down behind the 4-man Newcastle wall. This will be between 25, closer to 30 yards out. Szoboszlai looks to his left, the referee Atwell has a little word. He's ready to take it. He can make the ball move. Szoboszlai hits this, but straight into the chests of the wall, and it bounces away. Didn't get that one right. And suddenly, like the proverbial jack in the box, Matthias Jaissle is bouncing out of his coaching area and away out of the technical area as the ball's played forward for Osula. Osula running at Frimpong. He's got no support there at the moment. Still going, the leggy Osula, and then plays it infield. There's the support arriving from Elanga. Now out to Barnes on the left-hand side. Barnes looked to play it past Szoboszlai, but it bounced back onto Barnes and out of play for a Liverpool throw.
He's so improved, Osula. As last season watching it, he was so raw in times, but then again he's sometimes trying too hard because he wasn't getting that many opportunities. And looking at him now, he's very, very comfortable in that centre forward position. Yeah,
he improved during the course of last season as Gravenberch gives it to Wirtz and then to Gakpo. Gakpo shoots, but that was blocked by Chow, who managed to get himself in the line of the shot. Wirtz, we've seen some lovely touches already in amongst everything else from Florian Wirtz, who it's been suggested, I've seen in a number of quarters, for Wirtz it's either sort of sink or swim for him this season. Well, he's made a good start. Ball comes into the middle, the Hall heads it away. Frimpong trying to find a position on the edge of the box, twisting and turning. Barnes was able to get in and pass it away. Liverpool again in the shadows now, cast by the Milburn stand. Played to Frimpong, bounced away from him, and Botman just put his foot through it and cleared it to the halfway line.
Yeah, they're under a little bit of pressure, but they expect that as the game goes on. That's what Liverpool are very, very capable of doing. But they always know they've got that long ball just lumped up. Having said all that, keep an eye on Osula. Kind of limping a little bit just now. I think he was hurt in that challenge before.
Liverpool come again on the left-hand side. Gakpo cuts it back, but there's the cover from Elanga. Back, helping out. Dedic. And in the end was able to play it away long. But Van Dijk comes across, chests it down. Virgil van Dijk. 35 years old now. This is the last year of that 2-year contract he was given. And then Szoboszlai now out to the right-hand side. No Salah anymore, but it's Ngumoa who is playing in that role. That's a bit of pressure. Mind you, 17 years old. Maybe doesn't feel the pressure as Miley has fouled, and the referee actually, even though Newcastle were breaking away there, he'd already given the free kick. So and I don't think Newcastle will worry too much about that, because it's been played at quite an intense pace. Free kick.
It has been. You talk about Ngumoa there, but he's up against Lewis Hall, and that battle on its own has been great to watch so far. Hall has got the upper side of it, I would suggest, so far. However, the striker always knows you only need to win it once.
Lots of players who didn't go to the World Cup feeling they've got lots to prove. Ball's played by Jaissle. Kerkez hits a shot. Hornicek straight at him, really. He was able to go down, parry it, and then pat it again. And then pick up, and he's got the ball. But of course, the countdown will be on. Yeah, Stuart Atwell says to the goalkeeper, the Czech international goalkeeper. He was part of the squad at the World Cup. He cost around about £25 million. And Nick Pope not involved today, so I think the expectation is that Nick Pope, as Newcastle win a free, and it's another foul by Kerkez, incidentally, and the referee does indeed get the yellow card out to show to the Liverpool left back. Told you, Pat.
Yeah, you absolutely did. You called that very, very early indeed. But the pressure that Kerkez is under just now, he's up against, I mean, just watching Elanga last season, it was a bit up and down. There wasn't real certainty and belief as much as I've seen in previous parts of his career. However, you look at him now, he looks as if he owns that position, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was a lovely goal that he scored. Here's Barnes cutting infield, and then he is bundled over by Frimpong, who chased after him. He goes down. That might be a yellow card. It is as well. So in the space of really a matter of seconds, both Liverpool fullbacks have been booked, and he can't argue about that.
Well, yeah, again, there's a little drag back. I actually think Harvey Barnes has got a little bit of his shirt as well, to be honest with you. But if you're a wide player, this is your dream scenario. First half, 30 minutes gone, your full-back's on a yellow card, and he's walking on eggshells. You just get the ball and run him every opportunity.
So it's a free kick, good position. Andoni Iraola is having a right moan about that to Tony Harrington, the fourth official.
I think Ursula fancies this one. That little limp has suddenly disappeared. Now he's got a chance of a shot from 33, 32, actually maybe less than
I think
that.
less, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 26.
Yeah, round about that sort of range. Osula, who did score 9 goals last season, and remember, he scored in the 3-2 here. He scored a very good goal in that 3-2 match. Do you know, it kind of looks as though it might be Hall.
But he's an unusual angle he's looking at it, Osula.
Yeah.
That's a curler.
Osula to the left, Hall to the right of the ball. Osula comes up, and he does hit it, but hits it straight into the wall. Comes back to him, left foot shot, miss-hit it, hits Szoboszlai, and skitters away wide of the goal for a corner to Newcastle.
And he's limping again now, after hitting that terrible free kick into the wall. I think he actually has got an injury. It's one of those ones where, under previous rules, he'd have stayed down after that challenge, you know, they've got a little bit of treatment. But he doesn't want to do that now. He stayed on the pitch and he is limping quite considerably, Osula.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. We're on the World Service as well, wherever you are. It can't be a nicer day than it is on Tyneside. Hall with the corner in. Oh, and reaching for it was Botman. Very nearly got his head to it. Comes back to Hall. He's on his right foot there, and he's actually challenged and lost it to Wirtz, and Wirtz rides the challenge and then plays it forward to Isak, and then Isak is able to take it on over the halfway line and playing it square, but it was behind Frimpong. He's got it under control though. That's a poor ball from Frimpong. Passed it straight into Stir, and the Newcastle midfielder, the teenager, said thank you very much, and the danger was snuffed out.
It's decision making at that point in time, isn't it? And Frimpong, a player who can play, you know, right back, right wing, right midfield. You think in the final third they would have much better delivery than that. And as I say that, Stir just kicked the ball out of play. I think he's arguing that Tal should have been a little bit more on his toes, but you should play it to a player's feet there, so I don't think that's the centre-back's fault.
Yeah, and actually on that counter-attack, Isak, as Liverpool think they've won a corner over there, Florian Wirtz is asking why is that not a corner after he was challenged, but Stuart Atwell says no, goal kick.
One of the big noticeable things when you watch particularly Isak playing for Liverpool, you know they want to play at a higher intensity, and Iraola will want that. We know that's his style. That's not really Isak, is it? That's not what he's best at. In fact, it's nowhere near what he's best at. So I was just wondering if that's how Liverpool will be able to play.
Newcastle taking a goal kick, and in the end Lewis Hall being dispossessed, and Ungamoa, England international, remember, pre-World Cup, is able to play it infield, and then there's a foul and a yellow card
to Miley, I think,
after that challenge. Was it Miley?
Yeah, I think it was Miley
on Gravenberg.
It's one of those ones where I didn't see much in that there, but the referee's much closer to it. It's a foul. I'm not convinced that's a yellow card. I mean, he's actually went to his pocket quite quickly, surprisingly so. I mean, it seems after the World Cup it's a wee bit harder to get yellow cards. Not today.
No, free kick, Szoboszlai to take it. Miley in the book. Szoboszlai, nice looking delivery, well headed away though by Botman. Comes out to Kirkes. They tell me that the Botman struggled rather in the pre-season matches as Kirkes is challenged by Wisser out there, and it deflects off the Liverpool man and out of play for a throw into Newcastle. But he's not put a foot wrong, Botman, so far in this match.
Well, he's been up for it, and he's tried to keep close along with Chow, close to Isak, who's had very, very little will change out of either of them, and he's ended up going a little bit deeper sometimes, going a little bit wider than he would want to as well.
Challenge then on Alanga. Newcastle fans wanting a free kick for that. They didn't get that. Then Szoboszlai on Wisser. That is given as a free kick. Newcastle take it quickly. Here's Botman. Botman then passes the ball. That's nicely weighted as well for Osula, who got a little shove by Van Dijk. The two of them were jostling for the ball, and that sent Osula limping away again.
I think the kick he got was actually in his Achilles area. It's one of those ones where there will be a fear in case you feel as if it's going to go, it's going to pop. And footballers will all tell you the last one thing you ever want is your Achilles tendon to pop.
Yeah, I mean, he's hobbling all the way back to the halfway line. So I mean, there's nobody out warming up for Newcastle. 10 minutes to go to half-time as Liverpool look to the teenager, just a few days away from his 18th birthday next week. Ngomor crosses, but I think it took a deflection which carried it closer to Hornacek, who was able to deal with it. He's just picking it up now.
It's very interesting to watch Jaissle here. The way he's walking, the way he's been so gingerly walking on his left foot, putting his toe to the ground. But then when the ball was put long there, he was lightning after it. So I wonder if his manager believes that he's really that injured.
It's Osula who put the ball through to Alanga to score the goal. As you said at the time, Pat, beautifully judged, wasn't it? It was perfect for Alanga, right side of the box, in the 5th minute. And quite the scenes of celebration inside the stadium. All of the emotion, the Kevin Keegan emotion before the match. And then Newcastle score, the noise inside this place. And Newcastle with Hall. It does well, flicks it between two Liverpool players to Lewis Miley, and then Miley forward for Barnes inside the box, bumping bodies with Frimpong, who goes down. But between them, I think they were probably too concerned with looking after one another, and the ball ran away and through for a goal kick.
Oddly, it is the right ball to the wrong player. Had that ball been put through to Osula or Ilanga or Wisser, they would have got behind it. They would have been in the keeper. Harvey Barnes, a fabulous player, but has not got their pace.
I can't see Osula making it to half-time here. He's really struggling. Liverpool coming forward. Ball played out towards the left-hand side. Wirtz is there, arriving in that position. Wirtz chips it back. Oh, he's looking for Szoboszlai on the edge of the area. Headed away, though, by Miley, who got up high. As I suggest, might be able to get up higher this season. Here's Frimpong. Frimpong now to Ngomor. Been an excellent contest. Ngomor against Hall. Back to Frimpong, his ball in, comes off the Newcastle head, Miley, and then put behind at the back post by Dedic for a Liverpool corner.
Yeah, again, I don't think it was the best ball in the world there, but it caused a little bit of trouble. I just wonder if Newcastle's new manager has actually spotted the trouble that he's got.
Surely he's seen that.
He just isn't walking right, and as I say, it's his left foot. It's kind of ankle stroke on his Achilles sort of area, and that's why he's trying to secure it a little bit and not put any weight on it.
Corner then, Szoboszlai plays it in, flicked by Gakpo, and it hit a Newcastle man in the 6-yard box. Might well have been Botman. He's got a pat on the back from Hornacek, so it must have been him, which deflected it wide for another Liverpool corner.
Great delivery there, absolutely phenomenal. That is horrible to deal with, and you can just see Virgil van Dijk thinking, I can go onto one of these.
Mass backdrop of black and white stripes behind that goal. Szoboszlai playing it in, headed away by Dedic for Newcastle to almost the centre circle, to Liverpool's Frimpong. Wirtz infield, Gravenberg Low ball deflected all the way through to goalkeeper Hornacek.
You know, that injury, John, Ursula, because he's not running freely and he's not dragging that defence back and causing them a problem, it's really badly affecting Newcastle's play just now, because they can't get up the pitches as quickly as they were doing before. So that's a real problem for them.
Liverpool clear it, but only to Wissa. Wissa then turns it to his left, to Elanga, and then the return pass doesn't give Wissa a chance. Frimpong cleared it. I think he was fouled by Wissa, but the referee allows play to continue, and Newcastle have got it back. Stir to Hall, who couldn't keep the ball in play. He was trying to... I think he thought the final touch was off a Liverpool man, but it was the throw-in to Liverpool. Quick ball forward, but Chow was there for Newcastle, and with his right foot lifts it out of play in the other halfway line.
Newcastle fans will be aware of this. It's got a little bit ragged for them now. Obviously playing at the tempo they've had to play at. They've not had as much of the ball as Liverpool as well, but they've put in so much effort. But you need all 11 players, or all 10 outfield players doing that, and you can see a little bit of tiredness, and it's coming from the front, as we say, with Ossolet. So I think they'd be happy to get in here 1-0 at half-time.
If you're on your way back from the earlier matches, we'll have reaction coming up. Newcastle have given it away. Gravenberch hits the shot, but it's blocked on the edge of the box and bounces out away over to the far side into the right back position, where Dedic blasts the ball into Gakpo and wins a goal kick. Yes, reaction coming up at half-time to the earlier matches. Brighton's, well, the best win so far of this opening Premier League weekend, 4-0 against Aston Villa. And Manchester City under Maresca winning 2-1 against Marco Rosa's Bournemouth. 2 new managers there, 2 new managers here. 11 Premier League managers are starting a season with their current club for the first time.
Well, it feels like almost within living memory I've never known a league campaign like this. So just trying to gauge who's going to do what and predict or even guess is almost impossible, but it does make it exciting.
It does, and you know, with a number of big personalities have moved on, and I was wondering, you know, who are the managers who are going to pose problems for the officials as the ball is shepherded out of play on the far side. Wirtz and Stir, and it's a throw-in for Newcastle. I was thinking, I wonder who the managers are who are going to, you know, really make a nuisance of themselves, because Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall had a bit of a reputation, didn't they? And then I've already seen Matthias Jaissle in action today.
I've not seen him not in action.
No.
He's just kept on going the whole time. He needs to get out of the suit and get into a tracksuit, or
Yeah, he does.
something.
Absolutely.
There's too much movement there.
Yeah, he's wearing a suit, but he's got sort of beige-coloured trainers on with his black suit, white shirt. Wissa, who has been booked already, checked Gravenberch, who went down. It's a free kick to Liverpool, and I think you can tell from the reaction inside St James's Park, like you, Pat. Yeah. And Andoni Iraola has come to the 4th official and said, what about that for a second yellow card?
Can I say, I think the referee nailed it. He tried to get out of the way. Yeah, there was a little bit of contact there, but he's tried to get out of that, and the referee spotted it.
Well, did say to you, Pat, I thought we might have a few goals in this match, but still just the early one, as Elanga is then leaned into by Gakpo in the centre circle. He goes down. That's a free kick to Newcastle. Yeah,
he just couldn't get his pace going. You thought if he gets the first 3 or 4 strides away, you'll not catch him, but just get nudged over there. And I think, again, the referee got that one right. He's went to his card a few times. The game's been played at such a pace that it's not an easy one all the time to referee, but I think he's done a decent job so far.
1-0 to Newcastle. You'll be able to read all about these matches on the football pages of the BBC Sport websites and at the clips, Premier League clips, highlights from 8 o'clock, but match of the day for the full package, BBC One tonight, all the weekend matches, and of course match of the day anytime on the iPlayer, and search Football Daily on BBC Sounds, where you will also find all live BBC radio and commentaries to come Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from the Carabao Cup matches, and also you'll find on there Lask against Celtic, with Celtic surely through to the draw on Thursday.
Well, Celtic fans will no thank you for that. 3-0 up, you're absolutely right, but
or let's say all but through.
They should do it. They should do it.
Although Lask did show that they have potential. Newcastle coming forward. Elanga near the edge of the box, tries to chip it through, but it was headed away by Van Dijk. Wissa's going to try a shot all the way across the penalty area. Actually, it could have turned into a useful cross, that attempted shot, had Barnes gambled, but it was beyond him through goal kick.
You know, they've not had to put up with a lot of pressure, that Liverpool back line, but they don't fill you with absolute confidence. You know, each time, you know, the Newcastle get the ball in the final third, they always seem to get a cross in. The defenders are panic-stricken, but the pace that they're up against as well. And I think the best form of defence for Liverpool is to keep a hold of that ball.
1-0 to Newcastle. Isak, who is cheered because he goes to the ground after Chow sort of leans into him, well, pushes him over, let's be honest about it, and it's a free kick. Chow cheered for that.
He's not had a good...
over the years. Yeah. That is exactly the sort of challenge at any time in football that you would have seen for a returning player like Isak.
Yeah, exactly. Just remember where you are.
And again, the Newcastle United supporters with a clear message for Isak. Free kick played in by Szoboszlai, but headed away back out to the far side. Szoboszlai allows it to roll out of play.
Has indicated a minimum of 1 minute additional time.
You heard that. Szoboszlai swings it into the box, and the whistle goes for a challenge near the penalty spot, and free kick to Newcastle for that challenge on Botman, who is just feeling his hip or the back of his...
Classically, you know for an absolute fact that last season the physio would be on, it would take him another 2 or 3 minutes, the game would slow down, and in Botman at this point in time, he's going to be a feature now. You're going to have players out there playing who know they've got a little bit of injury, it's slowing them down a little bit, but they have to get on with it. And it just makes you used to it. It's part of the game now. It's adapted the rules slightly. And Botman's up, he's limping a little bit, aching a little bit, but yeah, you've got to go on with it.
And Oscar seems okay, doesn't he?
Yeah, one of those ones where if it is in that particular area, that's one of those ones that can really stiffen up at half-time, so we shall see what the physio think at half-time.
And Gamora won't reach that pass from Isak, straight out of play. Newcastle fan down to our left was anxious to send a message out there to Isak, and a steward in front of him tells him to behave and sit down.
And beyond that, Newcastle players warming up before half-time, so you never know, there may be a change.
Yeah, Voltemada is one of them. And there's the half-time whistle. Well, that was very entertaining, Pat. Very interesting, entertaining. The early goal was... I mean, it sparked a reaction inside St James's Park, the like of which I have seen and experienced many times before. But the noise and the boos there for Isak just as he leaves the field. And that's the only goal that we've seen. Andoni Iranga's well-taken effort in the 5th minute, which means that Matthias Jaissle's team are winning against Andoni Iraola's Liverpool.
They are. It's difficult to say they fully and utterly deserve it, because Liverpool have had probably most of the play. They've got into the final third quite a few times, but they have created precious little, you know, in front of goal. One great save down to his left-hand side by Hornacek. The ball bounced in front of him, he got it around the post, but apart from that, they've defended very, very well. Impressed by Hall, very impressed by Dedic, and that right back area gets forward now and again as well. Newcastle did seem to falter a little bit when Iraola got injured and wasn't such a threat going beyond. But the further that Liverpool press up, they know that danger of the pace against them, from not just Elanga, who showed it at the start, but from Wissa and from Iraola, is something that they're fearful of and something they need to worry about. So, yeah, a number of problems there that Liverpool have to sort out, and Iraola, above anything else, has to get somebody who's going to create something. And I must say, Isak has come in, and he's almost... You wouldn't know he's here unless the Newcastle fans were booing him. He's done very little.
Entertaining match, although the abiding memory will be that 15 minutes and the Kevin Keegan tribute before the match actually kicked off. But at half-time here in the sunshine on Tyneside, It's Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0.
John, we just sat here in the studio, took it all in, drank it all in as you described it beautifully. Luckily, we married that up with pictures that we're seeing here in the studio. It was so emotional and incredibly done, just as we expected Newcastle United to do the great man. That beautiful tribute. Pat, let me just turn to you for one quick one. Andoni Iraola, he had his critics last season, but that was the finish of a man who feels confident, who feels maybe refreshed, recharged and ready for a new challenge. It was great.
You're absolutely right. You know, if I don't think he was first choice all the time last season, and if you're not first choice and you're a creative player, it can have an effect on you. You want to believe not just in yourself, but to come from the manager, to come from the stands around you. And it wasn't coming from everywhere else at parts of the season. I saw a lot of them last season. You knew it was in there somewhere, but you look at him now, he is utterly reborn. And nothing gives you confidence more, absolutely nothing, than the ball played through and you realise, I've got him for pace. I don't even need to be good, I just need to be quicker. And he absolutely done Kerkes there. He probably gave Kerkes 2 or 3 yards, and he went past him as if he didn't exist. And then you have to do the hard bit, which is score the goal past the goalkeeper, and you're spot on about that. Great finish into the far corner there, kept it low. John actually described it really well. It had the power. I said ping. No, actually, it was more guided than ping. So yeah, the confidence is all there, the belief in that he is the quicker player. And I just wonder if in this second half we might see Tsimikas in instead of Kerkes, because he's not dealing with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Pat, John, thank you so much. Second half commentary of Newcastle versus Liverpool en route. We'll get reaction for wins for Manchester City and Brighton. But at 5:22 this Sunday evening, it's time for the latest BBC News with Joe Critcher.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Colleagues of the 2 police officers killed in a crash on the A66 near Middlesbrough yesterday have laid flowers on the roadside. PC Matthew Blades and PC Tom Clough died when their vehicle collided with a car carrying 5 young men that was driving the wrong way on the carriageway. They also died. Anna Turley, the MP for Redcar, says the whole community is devastated.
The overwhelming feeling is one of grief and sadness and an outpouring of sympathies for the families. I think people have also really wanted to extend their recognition to the 2 brave police officers who were killed in the line of duty, PC Matthew Blades and PC Tom Clough, who were in action that night and should have been returning home to their families.
Cross Country has cancelled almost all of its train services after a power cut at its control centre in Birmingham. Fans travelling to football fixtures have been warned services to and from Manchester, Liverpool and Newcastle might be extremely busy. The government says it'll give mayors in 13 more regions of England the power to overrule local councils on some planning decisions to deliver new homes and regeneration. But the Conservatives are questioning whether it's right for councils to lose the ability to make planning decisions in their own communities. And the ball with which Diego Maradona scored his infamous Hand of God goal for Argentina against England at the 1986 World Cup has sold at auction in the US for £2.5 million.
You're listening to Drive on 5 Live. Thank you for joining us. Here are the news headlines.
What is the picture? I mean, is there enough capacity? Where are we?
Often for people that just need a little bit of help, the system won't be able to deliver anything.
What do you think to that statement first?
Maybe the players that weren't here, you mentioned the transfer market, there was no Ollie Watkins here today. Was that your decision not to play him? Was that his decision not to come? How did that play out?
I can't answer it. This is the question for him.
But from where we're standing, it looks like it could be the end for him.
The player we were here because they were available and they were in the commitment we need to play and to try to get good result. Of course, today we were unlucky without strikers. And Watkins' issue is one thing he can answer himself. Another two striker, Tammy Abraham, he was with a small injury. And hopefully he can this week again join us to train. Matthias as well, he has a small injury. And we needed to play today without a striker. But of course, how we started and how we were planning and how we could as well perform better like we did, of course, through those players, I think we could do. But with the mistake we made and with the 20-minute horrible 20 minutes we played, we lost it.
Let's hear now from Jack Hinchelwood, who scored twice in 2 first-half minutes to make it 4-0 to Brighton.
We had to suffer for the first 5-10 and then, I thought we brought real energy and intensity to the game and that led to us being 4-0 up. So I thought from then on it was a real professional performance. So yeah, we're really happy.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, how much are you enjoying your football and how big a season could this be for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving it. I love playing in this position. Sometimes I have to be a bit patient. I don't see the ball as much as I like, but I know I'm popping up in them positions. And today was nice, turned it into 2 goals, and yeah, that's what I'm working on to help this team.
Obviously, the squad's got a bit of a different feel. Obviously, Danny's left. A couple more may leave before the transfer window shuts. How do you deal with that and cope with that as players?
Yeah, I think it's a massive opportunity for players like myself to step up into that sort of leadership role. And I'm learning off Dunkey and Pascal and Steely every day how they apply themselves and how they are around the boys. So yeah, I think it leaves a massive opportunity for other players to step up into that role. So it's really exciting. And I think today obviously sets the benchmark for the rest of the season. So yeah, we need to apply ourselves right now for the next few games as well.
Jack Hinchelwood there talking to our man John South. All lines are open for 6:06, which follows the second half from St James's Park. Chris Sutton is alongside Robbie Savage and Christoph joins us now. Good evening.
Good afternoon,
Aaron. Oh, sorry, I've got no windows.
That's okay. It all blurs into one, doesn't it?
It does. It just, that's exactly what it does. How are we, Chris?
Yeah, I'm very well. 6:06 will be great tonight. I mean, what is going on at Aston Villa? Just listening to Unai Emery talking about Ollie Watkins, and he said this is a question for him. So, I mean, it sounds like that Ollie Watkins didn't want to play. But if you're Aston Villa, they've sold Tielemans, they've sold Konsa, they've sold Rodgers. I think Dini's gone as well. Aston Villa all of a sudden have become a selling club. Manzambi has come in. But you think the seasons and the success they've had under Unai Emery, I would be seriously worried at this moment in time if I'm an Aston Villa fan. And Ollie Watkins, I mean, hopefully this will be resolved quickly, but it does look like he wants away. If I'm a Villa fan, I'm feeling a little bit let down by that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who's going to play up front for him? That's the question. They've got the they've got the young lad that they fought so hard to bring in. His name escapes me now. I'll bring it to you. His name is Brian Maggio. That's the one, Brian Maggio. But he's still 17.
Yeah,
he's only a young pup.
And I think if you looked at their bench today, I think there was like a 20-year-old, a couple of 19-year-olds, just thrown on there. So, Villa, when they, if you want to challenge on all fronts, you need strength and depth. Villa don't have that. I suppose, if you looked at Villa last season, they had a slow start last season, and Unai Emery is a good manager. So you'll feel that they probably will get there. But it's a really worrying start. Big win for Manchester City. Of course, Enzo Maresca, he needed that. Mark Gahey playing the Rodri role today. That was remarkable. He did all right, but he's no Rodri. But if you're a City fan, you're just thinking, well, we won. Anyway, we got the job done. Bournemouth, did you like that version of Rose? Did you see what I did there?
Yeah,
Aaron. We've talked about Villa. Let's talk about Brighton. Can you go better than last season? Brighton fans, Hinchelwood, he'll be the next one off the conveyor belt. And West Bromwich Albion, they won fair and square this week. And just quickly, Manchester United fans, want to hear from them. I saw the Luke Shaw interview last night after we'd finished 6:06, and he said we could probably have prepared better. I mean, if I'm a Manchester United fan, I'm thinking, what on earth is going on there all of a sudden? And want to hear from Spurs fans again. Have you recovered after getting absolutely walloped yesterday?
So basically, you want to hear from everyone.
Yeah.
08085 909 693. Chris, you're a joy. I'll catch you next weekend. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage on the way after second half commentary from St James's Park of Newcastle versus Liverpool. Now, Manchester City snatched the 3 points from Bournemouth with a 90+ minute goal from Josko Gvardiol. Here is head coach Enzo Maresca.
That was very important, first of all, for the boys, for the team, then for the fans, for everyone. I think we deserve to win the game. We had 3-4 chances before the goal we concede, and probably it's a game that you don't need to wait 90 minutes to win the game. You deserve to win early, but it's the beauty of the football.
In terms of Mark Gahey today, clearly his selection is not a surprise, but where he played today raised a few eyebrows. So what was your thinking behind that?
Just find solution. I'm trying to find different solution. I know Mark from Palace. I always thought that he could be very good in the midfielder. We tried the first 2 days central defender step in as a midfielder, and then the last 2 days we just try him as a midfielder, and I think he was very good.
And obviously scored a crucial goal for you today. And we saw before the game there was a lovely tribute for Kevin Keegan before the match, and I think it's safe to say a player like Ryan Shirky would have been right up his street, his kind of player, and he made a big difference. How tempted were you to start him today?
Yeah, it was to be honest, it was the doubt until the last moment. Yes, because then he was working very good in the last days. But again, sometimes we make a plan, but sometimes you need to change a little bit. So he was inside, helped the team to win, and this is what we need from him.
Enzo Maresca with Gary Flintoff. Let's get a roundup of today's county championship action. Kevin Howells has been watching Somerset Essex.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. 5 rounds remain in the championship season. Top 3 in the title race, separated by only 5 points. Defending champions Nottinghamshire lead the table. Their win over Surrey yesterday. Warwickshire a third. That 1-wicket victory over Sussex for them. But in the middle now is Somerset. After their former England spinner Jack Leach took 5 wickets in the Essex second innings, following on 9 for the match. Essex all out for 412, leaving Somerset to score 102 to win and an 8-wicket victory. Hampshire are bottom of the table after Yorkshire beat them by 39 runs. Leicestershire are second bottom despite a second win of the season for them today over Glamorgan. But there is a pitch inspection there at Leicester. They'll hope to avoid any points deduction. In the second division, chasing promotion, Northampton Kent meet on Thursday. Following wins for them both today, third and second respectively. There it's 4 points separating those two teams. And just the one live game over on Sports Extra right now. Worcestershire need 279 to beat Gloucestershire to stay in the promotion race. They're going very well indeed, Worcestershire. 219 for no wicket. That's over on Sports Extra.
Kevin, thank you. Let's head back to St James's Park for second half commentary of this game between Newcastle United and Liverpool. Pat Nevin is alongside John Murray.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Welcome everyone back inside St James's Park, where the attendance of 52,630 has just been announced. And it is a slightly increased capacity at St James's Park this season. I don't know how they've managed to squeeze in some extra seats, but they have. But that is the crowd figure. Newcastle leading 1-0 as the second half begins. And already Kirkes bursting forward for Liverpool towards the edge of the Newcastle box at the Leazer's end. He has to turn and give it to Gakpo. And then Gravenberch is there as well. Liverpool trying to catch Newcastle out at the start of this second half. Ball played through. Gakpo tries to stab it across goal with the outside of his right foot. And it comes off Stir and bounces behind for a corner to Liverpool. Pat Nevin.
Nice sharp start with Liverpool. You get a feeling that Iraola's had a few words to say to them, and one of the ones they sent it to is Kirkes, and the first thing he'd done was fly up the line as if to say, I don't want to be defending, I want to be attacking.
And I should say as well, Ossia is out there. I'm not sure we're necessarily expecting that. Szoboszlai swings it in, glanced goalwards, might have hit the post, bounced back out. There were a group of players next to the post there. I think it was either a player bounced against the post or the ball hit it. Anyway, the Newcastle goal survives and Newcastle break forward. Barnes to Elanga to his left.